Good morning everyone. This video is for the students of class 12 subject economics. In this video we shall continue with our chapter number 9, that is problem of deficient demand and excess demand, and this is lecture number 3 for chapter 9 from macroeconomics. So in our last video lecture we talked about measures to correct deficient demand and excess demand. Okay, there are two policies, fiscal policies and monetary policies. Fiscal policies are government revenue and expenditure policies. Monetary policies are the policies which are used to correct the situation of excess and deficient demand by regulating interest rate and availability of credit in the economy. So we talked about these four fiscal policies in our last video lecture. In today's lecture, we shall discuss the monetary policies of correcting deficient demand and excess demand. The first policy is bank rate or repo rate. Now in lesson number 5 banking, you must have read about what is bank rate and repo rate. See, these are the rates at which the central bank lends money to the commercial bank. Okay, now to correct the situation of excess demand, when there is excess demand in the economy, the central bank increases the repo rate or the bank rate. Now by increasing the repo rate and bank rate, what happens? The rate at which commercial bank is borrowing from central bank, that rate is increased. Now to cover up that, what will commercial bank do? Commercial bank will increase the lending rates to the borrowers, to the general public. Now the general public or the borrowers will get the loans but at higher rate of interest, which means their borrowings will decrease. If they will borrow less from commercial banks, that means their income will be reduced, their demand will be reduced, and excess demand will be corrected. On the other hand, when deficient demand is to be corrected, these rates are lowered. Now by lowering the rates to the commercial bank, the commercial bank will also reduce the lending rates to the borrowers, which means now borrowers will take loans from the commercial bank because they will have to pay less interest rate. Now as borrowers are borrowing loans from commercial bank, that means their income is increasing, their demand will increase and deficient demand will be corrected. Okay. The next monetary policy is reverse repo rate. Okay, this induces the commercial banks to park their surplus funds with the RBI. Okay, it is the rate at which the commercial bank has to park their funds with the central bank. Now, to correct the situation of excess demand, these reverse repo rate is increased. Why? Because if reverse repo rate will be increased, that means there would be less funds which will be used as CRR by the commercial bank. If there would be less CRR, that means credit creation will be less. If credit creation will be less, that means income generation will be less and demand will be less and excess demand will be corrected. On the other hand, when deficient demand is to be corrected, reverse repo rate is lowered, so that commercial banks are not induced to park their funds with RBI. Now they can generate income in the economy by creating credit, so that which will lead to creation of demand and deficient demand will be corrected. Okay. The next monetary policy is open market operations. Now what are open market operations? These refers to sale and purchase of securities in open market. Okay. Now what happened during excess demand, when cash balances needs to be reduced with the public, the central bank tries to sell securities. Now when the central bank sell its securities to the public, then it will take their income. That means their cash balances with the general public will be reduced, their demand will be reduced, and excess demand will be corrected. On the other hand, during deficient demand, now to correct deficient demand, what we need to do? We need to increase the cash balances with the people. Now to increase the cash balance with the people, the central bank tries to buy securities, and in response, in against the securities, the central bank will give money to the public. Giving money means increasing their income level, which means their demand will increase and deficient demand in the economy will be corrected. Okay. The next monetary policy is CRR. Now CRR is cash reserve ratio. It is the minimum percentage of the cash that commercial bank has to keep with the central bank. Okay. Now CRR is raised to correct situation of excess demand. How? We know that CRR directly affect the credit creation in the economy by commercial bank. If CRR is raised, that means there will be less credit creation in the economy. If there will be less credit creation in the economy, that means income of people will be reduced, their demand will be reduced, and problem of excess demand will be corrected. And on the other hand, CRR, that is cash reserve ratio, is lowered when deficient demand needs to be corrected. Now when CRR is decreased, that means credit creation by commercial bank will increase. If credit creation by commercial bank will increase, that means income of general public will increase, their demand will increase, and deficient demand will be corrected. Now the next one is SLR, that is statutory liquidity ratio. It is the ratio between liquid assets and total deposits of commercial banks. So during situations of excess demand, this SLR is raised with a view to soak liquidity. That means if SLR will be raised, then credit creation capacity of the commercial banks will reduce, which means reduction in income, reduction in demand, and problem of excess demand will be solved. Conversely, SLR is lowered when deficient demand is to be corrected and AD needs to be increased, because reduction in SLR means increase in credit creation capacity of commercial banks, which means income will increase and demand will increase to correct the problem of deficient demand. The next monetary policy is margin requirement. Margin requirement is the down payment that borrowers are required to make as a percentage of their total borrowing from the commercial banks. Okay, whenever the borrowers take loans from the commercial bank, they have to keep something as a collateral security. So the difference between the value of the loan and the value of that collateral security is known as margin requirement. Now margin requirement is raised to correct situation of excess demand. Okay, by raising margin requirement, it means that commercial bank is raising the value of collateral security, due to which borrowing of borrowers will reduce, their income will reduce, their demand will reduce, and excess demand will be corrected. On the other hand, when deficient demand is to be corrected, this margin requirement is lowered so that it would be easy for the borrowers to take loans from commercial banks. Now, if they can easily take loans, that means their income will be increased. Increase in income will lead to increase in demand, and deficient demand will be corrected. The next one is moral suasion, or we can say moral pressure. Okay, it refers to the moral pressure on commercial banks by the central bank to follow its advice or guidelines. Okay, so banks are advised to be liberal in lending during situation of deficient demand. Okay, suppose there is deficient demand in the economy, then central bank will advise commercial banks to be liberal in lending. Okay, to be free in lending loans to the general public, so that their income can be increased and their demand can be increased and deficient demand will be corrected. and to be selective in lending during situation of excess demand. Okay, now suppose if there is excess demand in the economy, then at that time central bank will advise commercial banks to be selective in lending loans to the borrowers, which will decrease their income, which means their purchasing power will be reduced and their demand will be reduced and excess demand will be corrected. Okay. The next policy is credit rationing. Okay. What does it mean? It refers to a method in which the central bank gives directions to commercial banks to give or not to give credit or loan for certain purposes to particular sectors. Okay. Means central bank decides some limits of loans for different business activities in the economy. It is known as dear money policy. So it is introduced to correct the situation of excess demand when availability of credit needs to be restricted. Okay, so during excess demand, the central bank introduces this policy in order to prevent the excessive flow of credit in the economy, especially for speculative business activities. Okay, it helps to clear or to correct the excess demand. It is not required during situation of deficient demand when banks are advised to pursue cheap money policy. Okay, now during the situation of deficient demand, the banks will not pursue the same policy. It will allow the flow of credit creation in the economy so that the problem of deficient demand can be corrected. Now the next topic is how government expenditure impacts equilibrium income or GDP. Means what is the impact of government expenditure on correcting excess demand and deficient demand. See this through diagrammatic presentation. So when government comes into the picture, okay, when we talk about government, we are dealing with three sector economy, that is household sector, producing sector and government sector. Okay. Now accordingly the total expenditure in the economy would be consumption expenditure, which will be done by household sector, private investment expenditure, which will be done by producing sector, and government expenditure, which is done by government sector. Now let us understand role of government expenditure in equilibrium GDP. Okay. See, for the simplicity, we are taking that government expenditure is constant. We are assuming that government expenditure is constant just like autonomous investment in the economy. Okay. So income is shown or GDP is shown on x-axis. Consumption, investment and government expenditure, that is component of AD, are shown on y-axis. AS and AS line is equal to income line. Okay. This is the AD when there was no government expenditure in the economy. Okay. AD when there was no government expenditure in the economy, when there was only consumption expenditure and investment expenditure. So at this point, equilibrium was struck at this point. Okay. Now when the government expenditure has increased, now we are taking this line C plus I plus G function parallel to C plus I function because we are assuming that G is constant. Government expenditure is constant. So now after incurring government expenditure, our AD line has shifted upward to the blue line, sky blue line, and now we are achieving equilibrium at Q point. Okay, so we see that equilibrium is struck at point Q where C plus I plus G function intersect the 45-degree line, that is AS line. Here the desired AD is equal to desired AS and equilibrium output is OS. Okay. Now the question arises, how does government correct the situations of deficient demand and excess demand in the economy? Now have a look on correction of deficient demand in three sector economy by the government. Okay. So we know that when there is deficient demand in the economy, it creates a situation of deflationary gap. Okay, the economy is driven in the state of low level equilibrium trap. Okay, there is underemployment in the economy and factors of production are not fully employed. So to correct the situation, government has to step in. Now what happens? This is the point which shows equilibrium, but here there is underemployment. Here all the factors of production are not fully utilized. So deflationary gap is created due to this deficient demand, and AB is the deficient demand. So to correct this problem of deficient demand, government will increase its government expenditure so that our equilibrium can reach to the point A, where output has increased from OS to OT and we achieve the equilibrium level of output along with fuller utilization of resources at point A. Now have a look on correction of excess demand in a three sector economy by the government. Okay. See, we know that when there is excess demand, there is inflation in the economy, which lead to wage price spiral in the economy. So due to this problem, government has to step in and government has to cut its expenditure so that excess demand can be corrected. So OL is full employment equilibrium output, because at point Q we are achieving full employment equilibrium and Q is the point corresponding to ADF is equal to AS. But there is excess demand in the economy by AB. So to reduce this or to correct this excess demand, government will cut its expenditure. Government will reduce its expenditure, and as a result the level of AD is brought down to from ADP to ADF, and the economy is brought back to the point Q, which is the point of full employment equilibrium. Okay. Now the next topic is discretionary and non-discretionary fiscal instruments. Okay, what are non-discretionary fiscal instruments? These are the instruments which automatically operate on their own. These are also known as auto stabilizers. And discretionary are those instruments which are planned by the government to correct the situation of excess and deficient demand. Okay, discretionary fiscal instruments which we have already discussed in our last lecture. Now we shall discuss what are the auto stabilizers, or we can say non-discretionary fiscal instruments which automatically operate on their own. So non-discretionary fiscal instruments are taxation and grants and subsidies. How taxation works? If there is excess demand in the economy, that means income is more. If income is more, then we have to pay more tax. So the problem of excess demand will be reduced. If there is less demand, that means obviously income is less, people have to pay less tax. That means income will be reduced, demand will be reduced, and the problem of deficient demand will be corrected. Now, how grants and subsidies work? During the period of boom, okay, grant and subsidies come down on their own, means there is cut in government expenditure. And during the period of depression, government increases its expenditure. On the other hand, grants and subsidies tends to rise. Okay. So now your homework is that you have to read chapter number 9, problem of deficient demand and excess demand, and you have to do the given assignment.